Peace, y'all. Peace, 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 and grand rising. It's super early in the damn morning. And it is raining today. Without rain, things will never grow, right? We're growing, right? That's the goal. I wanted to talk about marks, beauty marks, scars, things that alter you, right? And I think about the Sierra song "Beauty Marks" so much when I think about things like this. But you see me on here, and I'm very, very. If y'all know, like I have 2 scars on my face, on each side. They came from a car accident that I had in maybe like a year ago, about a year ago, in June. The airbags and the glass and stuff from the accident, and I'm so grateful that I'm alive, right? But these scars or these marks on my face don't necessarily define who I am on the internals. A lot of us wear our scars on the outside, and a lot more of us wear scars on the internal inside. There's so many things that people go through on a day-to-day or a life basis that scars. For me, the ones that I looked into recently was just childhood trauma. With childhood trauma, when I think about that, my goal is how do I make that better for my child? Because the goal is when you become a parent, which I think it's such a beautiful blessing. I love being a mom. I look at him and I watch him grow every day, and I'm just so grateful that God gave me the opportunity to be just that, a mom. Like, it means so much to me. But with my son, and I think about my childhood, I think about the things that have scarred me internally, that still reside in me as an adult, and there are a few things, I had to really and truly dig deep within myself to discover those things that are, scars that have affected me on the inside, right? People don't always see these things. And I think a lot of times when we have these scars in our lives, a lot of people don't understand why we respond and react the way we do. I think a lot of times when we dig a little bit deeper, sometimes it's trauma, abandonment issues, neglect issues. Sometimes you may have a parent that is extremely controlling and verbally abusive, and as an adult, even though that caused you to suppress or pull back from people and a lot of stuff, I get it, right? So when I think about that, I want to tell y'all, I think counseling is amazing. We as black people do not like to do it. We think, oh, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm telling y'all, like, counseling is one of the best things you can ever do for yourself, especially when you find a good counselor that has some neutrality that helps you think and provoke thought in you, not just give you an opinion based off of their clinical study, you know what I'm saying? And maybe they may incorporate it in there, but they do give you room for thought. I think room for thought is extremely important because you do need to find ways to self-reflect and figure out what these scars are. And on top of that, you may have a little reminder that helps you to work through those processes, right? But as I'm working through them, and for me, I definitely have some childhood trauma. Like, I'm not going to even hold you. I think a lot of us do, and we just don't realize it until we realize why we respond the way we do as adults. But as I'm doing that, I'm working diligently because it is super important to me that my son is also fed in a way that he doesn't also receive those same scars. So when it comes to my son, if he has something he wants to do, mommy is not going to tell him he can't do it, right? And if at one point he can't, then I will explain why. You know what I'm saying? But as a parent, it is very important to me that I don't scar my child internally and give him those childhood traumas and wounds. You know what I'm saying? And it's not to place blame on the parents that raised you, right? Again, and it could be bad support what you do, but it depends on the intensity of it. But the goal is to work on yourself internally so that you can break that generational curse of trauma, because we, as black people, I ain't gonna hold you, like, we deal with a lot of trauma and we don't realize it's trauma. We just think, oh, that's just some regular shit. Like, this is what happens in families. Like, nah, sometimes it don't. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't. Even though it doesn't mean it should. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the best way to describe it. So, in your evolution, are you healing your childhood trauma? Just like the scars within, you know what I'm saying? People only notice the scars on the outside, right? They only see the scars that you see on the inside, which outside, which have nothing to do with maybe what you got going on the inside. People don't realize those scars. And the people who really love you and give a shit, they're going to help you process that too. You know what I'm saying? They're going to love you with your scars and help you maneuver through them, right? Now, most people who are master manipulators are going to pretend that they are doing that. And they're going to cat, mouse, pull and push against that and still give you trauma while trying to act like they're helping you through your trauma. And I think that is the worst thing ever. People actually do stuff like that, but people actually do. Even your own parents, if you bring it to their attention that, like, you made me feel this way, sometimes they'll gaslight the shit out you, or either they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry, and then a week later they'll do it again with no care in the world because they never were really sorry. So be careful of those energies. And I'm not just talking about parents, but we're talking about childhood trauma too, but that's people too. You know what I'm saying? It's not just your parents. It could be a sibling. It could be a romantic partner. It could be a lot of things. But them scars, if you do not address them, if you don't put that line in the damn sand and be like, I'm drawing a line here and you cannot pass here. If you don't set fair and true boundaries for yourself, you will continue to go through this vicious cycle of revisiting that trauma over and over again. And like I said, you know, if you give a care about you, will respect the fact, if you address that with that person, they will respect the fact that you have these issues, and they're going to respect your boundaries, and they're not going to do that to you, right? So be very careful with the company you keep. Address your childhood traumas, and like I said, draw the line. Sometimes, like I said, you gotta set them boundaries, man, and be like, nah, I'm not doing this, because people will be trying to, like, control your life because you've been so open and communicate to them so much that they feel like their opinion is actually the rule, and it's not. You're not about to tell me how I'm about to live my life. You're not going to tell me how to respond or react to things. Thank you for your opinion, but that doesn't I'm not gonna always do what your opinion tells me to do. Like, it is just that it's an opinion. And if I draw the line in the sand and I say nah, and you get mad, that says a lot about that person. And you need to really check them. You really need to dig deep into yourself and say, what is it about me that allows me to continue to deal with that person out of love? Like, you may want to rediscover, like, what that love means, or if it's really love. You know what I'm saying? Because it's some folks out here that use that word real loosely. You know what I'm saying? So just be very careful. And even your own parents, their love language might be wild as hell. Or maybe they don't know how to love because they were never loved themselves. And they have their own childhood traumas they're working through, but they try to also process it while being a parent, and then it falls onto you. And then it's up to you to stay that way or work through it. And my goal is to work through it. I'm not about to bring that to my kid. You know what I'm saying? And as a parent, it is my goal to make sure that my child is raised to be a wonderful human being, or a good human being in general. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when my child has issues, he can talk through his feelings. Because a lot of parents like to tell us, don't speak, don't talk. No, I want my son to communicate with me, or anybody that he needs to communicate with. And again, I go to counseling, and so does my child. Why? Because I think it is a great way to release or speak on feelings. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we both communicate with each other very well, because he knows that I understand that, you know, his feelings are valid, right? But again, counseling doesn't mean you cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, baby. Sometimes counseling means you trying to improve on yourself, or you dealt with somebody who cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and they ain't doing what they supposed to do, and you got to heal from that. So don't necessarily take counseling to be something toxic and negative, because, or if somebody has their own mental issues. It's not always the case. Sometimes we need to balance out, need to balance it out and figure out, like, how do I become better? And sometimes counseling evokes thought, and I think that is a really great thing. And it's neutral. It's not somebody in your family who's trying to, oh yeah, you should do this, and how can it benefit me? Let me see how I can manipulate this so that you can listen and be like, yeah. Counselors don't do that. So say what y'all want to say about counselors. They're great. But that's my message, y'all. All scars are not just visible all the time. You know what I'm saying? Invisible scars, you know what I'm saying? They're just that. But your beauty marks are sometimes internal. And sometimes your beauty marks are just that. They're beautiful, and then some of them you have to work through. So let's break through generational curses. Let's find better ways to communicate, and make sure that our next generation is a better generation for the world. Okay?